Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it's the movie that's currently in theaters, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. So, before we get started, let me take care of some business first and then I'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos I've asked for your library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you don't want to be notified or just roll the dice on when to be notified by YouTube, hit that bell over there, and YouTube may or may not notify you when I come on live. Best thing to do is go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also, have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. All right, let's get started. So, this is the spoiler free version of the movie review. Uh, ooh, sorry, earthquake there. Yeah, bumped my table. Everything, everywhere, all at once. And there is a reason for the title as it is. So, looking at the trailer itself, you would probably be. Well, first of all, let's talk about the people who made this. The Daniels is what they're called. That is their collective name. It's actually two directors who and writers too. So Dan Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. I probably murdered his name, but there we go. And the collectively are known as the Daniels. They made another movie called Swiss Army Guy, which had Daniel Radcliffe in it as a dead guy that was being used by two other guys on a deserted island and weird things. I almost watched it, but I didn't. I just never, I never felt it was the right time to watch it for me. So that's why I didn't watch it. But this one, has Michelle Yao in it, James Hong, who I love James Hong. I really do. The man's in his 90s and still he's doing genre work. He loves doing genre work. So, I mean, I can't fault him on this at all. And we also have a return to acting for Ki Huai Kwan, who, of course, played Short Round in Indiana Jones: The Temple of Doom. He's all grown up now. And of course, he plays Michelle Yao's husband in this. And Jamie Lee Curtis is in this as well. There's people throughout this, and of course Stephanie Sue, which we'll talk about her in a little bit as well. But essentially, what this is a the way the trailers show this is that we have another one of the multiverse is breaking. There's evil coming through the multiverse, and there's only one person that can stop them. And we have to they basically the people that are trying to save the universe have to find the one in order to protect the universe. Yes, that is the subtext of all of this, but that's not the entire story. The story is really a family drama, but in a good way, shall I say, that's told through a cosmic event, if you will. It's everything is worked out through a large through the multiverse of different possibilities, um, different jobs, different vocations, if you will, different situations, different paths taken. And that is what this whole movie is about. In a nutshell, it is about everything, but it's also about family too, is really what it's about. This honestly is probably one of the best movies I've seen so far this year. About midway through, it's just like a gigantic, fun ride. It's 2.5 hours long, by the way, 2 hours and 20 minutes, really. And yes, for a movie of this length, you could edit it down a bit more. There are some spots that kind of lull a little bit that could be, edited out, whatnot. But that's nitpicking at this point. The movie is fairly well done and moves along at a good clip. And I felt like about midway through, yeah, I would say about midway through the movie, I kind of wanted to go on the ride again once it was over with, which is kind of a rare feeling for me now with movies. Uh, it's not something I kind of want to, go back and experience again, right after I've seen the movie. And this one was one of those movies that I really wanted to kind of go back. There's just so much in this. It's so crazy. Um, and it works. That's the whole thing. It there's really no way of describing it without spoiling it in the spoiler-free portion of it. So I'm just gonna say go out and watch it. Go and watch it in the theater. If you can. If you're gonna wait for it, that's great. I'm gonna buy this when it comes out on, 4K disc, all that kind of stuff, because it is one of those movies that is worth that it's worth your time. It really is worth your time. It's a great movie, fun movie. It's got a good message, and, I've heard from other people too saying that it's kind of altered their perception a little bit on life. Uh, yes, it can do that as well. There are some big concepts in it, but you can also be like the asshole that was behind me in the theater last night that fell asleep and started snoring about midway through the theater, the movie, because he was a mouth breather and shouldn't have been there, because he was just expecting a lot of martial arts, which there is a lot of martial arts in it. I'm just going to say that much, but that's not all there is. There's actually a story behind it as well. So, with that said, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the movie. If you have not seen the movie, go and watch it for God's sakes. Then you can come on back, and this will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. All right. I'm going to give you just a little bit of time to do this. Okay. All right. So yes, Evelyn, who of course is played by Michelle Yao, um, being the one, if you will, needs to discover how to uh, basically hop dimensions, yeah, different realities, if you will, different, the multiverse. So each in this movie, each decision creates a new branch, a new world, if you will. So do I go left? Do I go right? If I go left, that's where I'm on in that timeline. But there's also a place where I go right. There's also a place where I don't go any place at all. That creates another branch. Uh, Things of that nature. And so there are infinite amounts of multiverse worlds out there, and she can access the reason what makes her so special is that she has so many she tries so many different things in her life and fails at all of them. And because she tries so many different things, she creates multiple branches of herself that are doing things. Someone's a singer, someone's a martial artist, someone is a painter, um, so on and so forth. Someone's out there twirling signs, someone's a chef. So that's what she's drawing from all of this. And she is, of course, trying to she is supposed to defeat the big bad, if you will. Jubo is what her name is. It's Jubo uh, Tobaki is what she's called. I'm actually looking it up right now because yeah, there we go. Tupaki. That's what it is. Michelle Yeoh's character keeps saying different iterations of it all throughout the movie, which is really funny because she can never get it, and that's kind of why it threw me off, and I had to think about it for a second. But this person ends up being her daughter, and her daughter um, is able to was experimented on in one of the universes, what's called the Alpha universe, where they discovered multi dimensions and how to travel to them. Um, and as a result of all of this, her daughter, as a result of the experimentation and really the torture of it, her daughter has been able to perceive all of her different iterations all at once. So everywhere, all at once. Everything, everywhere, all at once. And so she can draw on all those powers and all the different places of the multiverse. She can bring them in. For example, there's a cop that draws his gun on her, and she grabs the gun and sucks on it like a hookah and blows smoke at him because that's what she can do. She then blows smoke into his mouth and causes his head to erupt and like pop like a pinata with confetti out of it because that's another multiverse that something like that could happen. That's how whacked out this movie is. And also, you've got the most egregious use of butt plugs I've ever seen in a movie. I'm gonna say that right now. There is a scene in there where I was just laughing my ass off because of the butt plug use that was being used in there. There's also some dildo kung fu as well. There is a scene in there where, yes, some long dildos are being used as nunchucks and killing some people. Um, that's the kind of insanity that is in all of this, and again, this is right up my alley because of not the butt plugs and the dildos and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about the multiverse of having a whole bunch of different stuff thrown at you in a cohesive way that makes it actually fun. And also, I don't know, having a message of because her daughter at one point is saying, "What's the point? Nothing matters." And her daughter is basically trying to get her to reach that same plateau so that she can confirm that there really is nothing out there. Basically, she wants her mother to change her mind. That's the reason why she is pushing her mother to become like her so that her mother might see something different and say, hey, there's this instead. Um, Yeah, and really it's about the entire family once you get down to it, because the father gets involved as well. Even the grandfather, James Hong, gets involved in all of this as well with all the different multiverse happenings. And it really is about, do you push, what do you do? Are you putting your own hopes and dreams on your kids? Are you going to push them into becoming like you or letting them do their own thing? Um, it's like I said, there's a whole bunch of fucking meanings to this movie, and you just kind of have to pick one that works for you. I hate to go back to like City Slickers where, they go, "Oh, it's the one thing that's the reason for life, it's one thing." That's pretty much what this whole movie is you can pick that one thing out of all of this. There is everything in there, and it is about everything and nothing at the same time. It's really hard to describe. It really is, but it's a great movie. It's got a lot of heart to it. You're gonna cry at some point during it too, because or multiple times, because that's what it's about too. I mean, unless you're the guy that was sleeping, the fucker that was sleeping behind me in the theater last night. But yeah, that fucking mouth breather. Anyway, it's a good movie. Go out and see it. It's probably going to be the most interesting thing you'll ever see out there at the moment, unless the Daniels make a sequel to it, which fuck they might. And it's definitely worth your time. So definitely go take a look at it, see it in the theater, or if you want to wait for it, plug your ears as much as possible. I honestly don't think there's going to be a way you can spoil this movie. Excuse me. It'll be very difficult for someone to spoil this movie because I don't know if you can accurately spoil it. I mean, other than what I've already given you, as in this spoiler version of it. Um, yeah, because it's really hard to come away with it with an overarching synopsis of what the movie is, other than what I gave you at the very beginning in the spoiler-free version. That's really it right there. So you kinda have to make up your mind at this point for yourself whether or not, it's gonna be for you. Really is what it is. Do you wanna see something interesting that you haven't seen before and, have your mind blown at the same time? Or do you wanna just watch, like, another martial arts movie, then, just go and put on John Wick or something like that? John Wick is good, don't get me wrong, it's actually a really good, movie and everything. It's just not deep like this movie is, which actually has a lot of substance to it. So, yeah. So, there's nobody here in the chat with me. Oh, oh well. I kind of figured people didn't want to be spoiled by this one, but who knows? You never know. So, I'm going to let you guys go for the rest of the night. Those of you who are watching this video, thank you out there. Um, yes, just thank you. And if you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media on there and all the links to my pages as well. So, what else do I have coming up this week? Well, tomorrow is going to be Moon Knight, episode 4 of Moon Knight. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I'm going to be off. Sunday will be another episode of either Spoiler Alert or the Sunday edition of Saturday Morning Blast Off. Usually, I've been combining the two lately, and unholy union that has been happening there, an unholy union, I should say. Actually, I might move it over to. I might cancel it this week. I forgot. I'm going to be going over to. I'm going to be celebrating Orthodox Easter on Sunday, the real Easter, and so I might not be available. We'll see. We'll see how I feel on Sunday if I'm going to do it or not. But until then, thank you, everybody, and don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up roaming through the multiverse trying to find different versions of yourself to fight your own offspring because they've turned evil and they are trying to not really destroy the universe, but destroy themselves in some kind of weird way of, I don't know, uh, self-depreciation. Sure, it could be that way too. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow for Moon Knight. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, and get those boosters as well, man, because those are the things that actually work. Thank you, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a good rest of your night and take care out there. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.